fait toujours trop.
My name is Inga Wojcik, and this is my studio in Warsaw.
The entrance is important, and my beautiful window. This is the morning table when I always drinking my coffee. I feeling like the old lady that observe everything what's going on outside, because here I can spy from my neighbors. And here is the main wall, and this is the new painting that I'm working. The corner. So here is the paintings that I don't like at this moment. Let's put the cross here, because they're just like very not ready. We have 3 beautiful carpet, which we are putting in a different combination, depends on the day. But most of the time it's like triangle in the middle. This is our feng shui, that's how we are working in the studio. And the carpets, I also feel that influence to the painting. I can write this is my studio in Warsaw. My art was born actually like in a moment of stepping out of the comfort zone. I had like the small studio in Warsaw when it was very difficult to paint like the big formats and stuff. So when I moved to Leipzig, I think that it was the moment when absolutely new perspective came to my brain. Before, I used to do only graphic design. I was obsessed with pencil. I was obsessed with screen printing. And then I get in my studio freedom of doing whatever I want. I was stepping out of the comfort zone to the something that I have no idea what is it. I needed to like observe it and think, okay, what is actually the stuff that I'm seeing? I needed to put it in my words, how to put the words into the format of painting. And it was very natural for me. I never painted with a lot of colors. Like colors are not my thing. I using like the brown, pink, and yellow sometimes, and that's it. Because that I'm like more into storytelling in my paintings. In few words, my paintings are about 3 systems, which is music and about the math systems. Then I started to thinking a lot about the language in any case. So I get fascinated, and then I was thinking about also interpreting how we perceive the paintings on the wall. In Poland, when we have like openings or stuff, there's no fun. Everyone is so elegant. Everyone is like so uncomfortable in their own area. And we have just like white queue, white walls, and one painting. That's it. In Leipzig, it was different because the people came for the exhibition and opening to actually talk. I feel that I want that the people will talk about my paintings. I also want to eliminate the distance between the wall and the viewer and the painting. I thought about like going outside of the painting and started that I make the composition that was open, and for the beginning it was more look like the map of thinking. But then I wanted to make them like clear that this is just a part of the painting. The way that you're learning is that if this is like the canvas, so you're starting from this and you're making with your art this kind of like the look. But what if I want to destroy this and change it? So if I have a wall and I would like draw something here and here and here, first you're looking about outside, and then you finally get to like look inside of the painting, because your eye is followed from this dark point to around, and then you're just starting to observe the painting. So it's like the visual game that I kind of play with myself and with the viewer, that you can make in your head different way of thinking about painting. It was the first thing, and then I thought about the music, and I also wanted that somebody would translate my paintings for the music from the melody. And I did that, and it's also in my brain somehow work with the going outside from the painting. I observed during my exhibitions that the people first are talking about what happened outside the painting, and then after that they're bumping to like talking about the real painting. The math is like the mathematics is another system that's more complicated. I grew up in a home where the math was all around. First is happening to be just a visually obsession that I wanted to somehow translate the math system into my own language. I remember when my father that used to be a mathematic and he wrote the system, the linear perspective about two. I translated this, and math have so many frames and rules that fascinates me because there's always ending with some exercise. Imagine, okay, I have to work on the white canvas, but I have some idea. So I could not call it idea. I could call it the system or some organized thing that I would just go to the painting and be like, okay, now I'm painting this part, that. It's like I'm writing some long exercise. And sometimes with this chaos that I'm living, it would be nice to have the system that you know what to do and you follow some rule, but you also make this rule. So for you can break this in any case if you don't like it. Normally I didn't do the sketches before, and now I started because if I'm working with this 5-line and the math systems, I sometimes need to just really change my perspective of thinking about it. So if I have something on the small paper, small wood cutting board, then I can just fully in my brain think about, okay, this kind of the system that is here and it's written in math should go here, but then I can think about the scale. Because normally when I'm starting painting this big one, I'm forgetting about the scale. That's something so small that I used to do. No, it's not going to fit on the big one. This is the background that I'm preparing. So I have this special tool. You just have to smash, and then you have this light background. I'm changing every time because it's still wet, but it's making the small. Here is turpentine, there's the oil, and here's all the palette that I'm using. The tools this is also my palette, because if I'm working only with the gray color, then just that I'm standing because the painting is so huge. So I have my brush and I have this small little thing, and I'm holding this exactly like this in my hand, and that's give me opportunity to move it. Because before I used to work with all the set desks, and it was too much because I didn't have space, and now I can just change and I can start painting, and this is why everything that I need in one hand, and I can just stand here, paint. It's really funny to do. Yeah. It's for real, just behind the scenes. A lot of people don't know how I did that, so they didn't know what kind of the technique it is. And now you have the whole vision how I made that. And that everything is used by just the one brush, full setup, and the tools. And I'm just kind of meditating. The funny thing about this painting is that I'm not listening to any music during painting this one. I always used to listen a lot of music that I was watching serial, I was listening to the music, but with this one, nothing, zero. I need completely quiet, and I need this moment that I'm just deeply into painting and I don't have to think about anything else. And that's how I concentrate with this one. And sometimes I make the hybrids. Here is the eye of the hybrid. And this is also because on the top here you have different one, and this is the same one but bigger. So here we have the eye, here we have the tail, the leg, and the tongue also you can see here. And this funny because the head is in this combination that this part of the painting look like an ear, but in my brain it was horse without the ear. But here's a horse, and on the top you have kind of the home. I don't know yet what it will be, because could be a home, but could be something absolutely different. Because first I put every of my sketches and this language that I create that was always very lovely and very moving. So they're like not existing symbols, and I wanted to make them fun. I wanted to not just put the music on the 5-line music that I create. I wanted something like that the person could actually come closer to the painting and be like, oh my God, did you see the horse? And be like more, okay, diving into and be like, oh, actually, this reminds me of that. And if I was just doing before this kind of the shapes, okay, of course, that you can like thinking about some object that this reminds you, but hybrid for me, they were more fun. And just like combining the still nature, some object with some animals, but they're like not even the animals, but the mystic things, and you just connect them. I want to operate around the abstract forms, but in the same time, I want to give something back for the people, just like the starting point of like getting to interpret my paintings. So that's why I made this building, or that's why you have like this kind of the hybrids. Maybe this actually reminds me of something. I don't need that the people will get it. I mean, this is for me. So this is this first step when I have to translate myself what I see. So in this moment when I will be fully okay with the idea at this moment how I perceive the world, it will be okay. So then I can start painting not so hermetic, and it will be easier.
Jamais assez.